Well, at our state capitol tonight, the House is debating the Equal Rights Amendment. It would take a lot of the protections from discrimination already in our state law and add them to our state constitution if the voters say yes. But Republicans are dead set against this because the new language includes language about abortion, sexual orientation, and gender expression. John Croman is at our state capitol tonight with the latest on a debate that promises to stretch well into the night. Hey, John.
Hey, a debate that hasn't even started yet, and as you mentioned, will go really late. I mean, we've had debates this year go 9, 10, 11, 12 hours, and bills that were far less controversial than this one. Basically, we're talking about a question that would go to the voters in 2026. Republicans don't want the voters to see that question, at least in this form.
Your body, your choice. Your body, your choice.
ERA supporters turned out in droves on Decision Day when the House is set to vote on a proposed constitutional amendment for voters to decide in 2026.
Having 2 years to really talk about what is in here, what does it do that's different from the current state protections? Why does it matter to have these enshrined in our Constitution? What does that say about our state?
As written, the ERA would bar discrimination based on race, color, ancestry, disability, or sex. And sex would include making and effectuating decisions about all matters relating to one's own pregnancy, or decisions whether to become or remain pregnant, gender identity or gender expression or sexual orientation.
When power changes, when folks come in with different agendas, there's always the chance that those laws are not enough. And so enshrining protections in the Constitution gives you that solidity, stability, so that that 30 years of protection that we have becomes part of the permanent landscape of who Minnesota is as a state.
A lot of the opposition comes from people holding the red signs, the abortion rights opponents.
Now, this is not your grandmother's ERA. This ERA bill enshrines abortion up to the moment of birth in our state constitution, and it doesn't even use the word abortion in the language on the ballot.
It's true, the ballot question voters will see says including pregnancy, but not the word abortion.
This is the wool being pulled over people's eyes. This is not transparent. It did not go to all the committees that it needed to go to.
You never put the entirety of the language of the ballot initiative before voters. That doesn't fit on a ballot.
DFL House Majority Leader Jamie Long says voters will know what's at stake.
Pregnancy is very clear what we're talking about. I don't think any voter will have any doubt in their mind that the amendment that they're voting on is going to be enshrining reproductive rights in the Constitution.
Some ERA opponents are unhappy it doesn't include the word religion.
This amendment pits the constitutional guarantee of all Minnesotans to be able to worship according to the dictates of their own conscience against these newly defined so-called rights of pregnancy, gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation.
Religion is the one that is specifically protected in the Minnesota State Constitution, and at the same level that we would be protecting in the Equal Rights Amendment. So we are bringing up protections for other classes of individuals, race, gender, etc., to the same level that religion now enjoys.
So the House has spent the first 5 hours of today's session on the junk fee bill, and this is the conference committee report, so it's coming back to them. It's essentially a bill they've already passed once before, but it's an example of how Republicans want to stretch things out as much as they can to just push things off the calendar or just make people regret that they're trying to pass these bills in the first place. So that's where we're at, Jana, hoping to see maybe a debate start before 10 and maybe a vote, before tomorrow morning, but I guess we'll figure out what they do.
Well, John, I'm just curious, why are they taking up this issue in the spring of 2024 for something that we would see as the voter in 2026?
That's a good question. I think part of it is that they don't know they'll keep the trifecta. So if the Democrats lose control of the House in the next election, they won't have the trifecta anymore, so they won't be able to put this on the ballot. So this is a chance to put it on the ballot in 2026. I think they think there's too much going on in 2024 to put this on the 2024 ballot, so they want it on 2026, but they want it on the ballot whether they remain in power or not.